I'm Angie with Blue Pants Yoga, and welcome back to Prop Talk. What are we talking about today? Props? Yes, what kind of props? Bolsters. I have two examples with us today. One is a good example and one is an old example. This is my old bolster from home, and she looks great for the most part, but she's not flat anymore. So this is kind of a good time to mention the fact that we buy yoga props, and a lot of the ones we've talked about before kind of last forever. Sometimes bolsters get old and need retirement, and she's at that point. She's not quite flat anymore. She served me well. The cat enjoys her. She stays in my yoga room. Here's a bolster. I like this size. It's flat, the way it's supposed to be. There are different sizes of bolsters. So this is kind of a good neutral one, and you'll see it's pretty similar in size to this one. When you go to buy one, you might find some that are thicker, and there are some that are actually more round. So that's just something to keep in mind. You know your body better than I do, so you might want to consider that when you make your purchase. But as far as just kind of an average bolster, and I'm going to say I'm bad right now, I probably should have measured this to give you an idea. But this is just your average size bolster, and I would just recommend having that on hand for your practice. A lot of restorative poses use bolsters, but you can use them in an active practice as well. So you'll remember from a previous video, I talked about sitting on blankets to prop my hips up. Sometimes, especially if you need a little extra height, you can sit on a bolster instead, and that gets your hips a little higher. So that's an option for you. Other things you can do in an active practice with a bolster is a child's pose. So maybe your hips are up a little higher when you come into child's pose, and that's great. And then you can lean over the bolster and you're in a more comfortable supportive position. And that's actually really relaxing. You could even add, if you need more height, a blanket to your bolster, and that gives you even more. And honestly, if you just want a really relaxing pose, have at it. Child's pose is very grounding, and I highly recommend it anytime. Other ways you can use a bolster in an active class is if you're going to do pigeon pose. You come into it, and you bring your leg forward, and maybe you have a lot of space right here. You know, you can use a trick of putting a blanket under here, but if you use a bolster, that gives you a whole lot more support through your entire hip and groin area. And you're gonna be a lot more comfortable that way. So bolsters are great for restorative. Bolsters are also great. I was gonna do that smoothly and that didn't happen. Bolsters are also great for your active practice. And that's bolster talk for today.